politics. You know, all this week we're comparing the vice presidential candidates, and we'll be doing so on a number of hot issues of the day. And today, Senator Joe Biden and Governor Sarah Palin face off on the topic of foreign policy. This is a very hot topic. Some say Senator Biden was brought into this race onto the Democratic ticket for his strength on this very topic. And others say the maverick, Sarah Palin of Alaska, has no experience in the area but has some very good ideas in the area. So what do the experts say? Columnist and contributing editor to the New York Sun is Seth Cattell, and he joins me now from our studios in Boston to talk more about this topic. And first of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Art. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. On the topic of foreign policy, where the VPs are concerned, how do they rate?
Well, there's really no comparison in the area of foreign policy. Joe Biden's been on the Foreign Relations Committee of the Senate since 1973. That's 35 years. It's the most of Sarah Palin's life. So in this area, he really has a huge foundation of knowledge and experience in dealing with foreign diplomats and others. I mean, so they're really, in general, there's just no comparison.
In terms of, and we have Joe Biden up right now, so let's stay with Joe Biden just for a second. He has been regarded as a real tough guy, one who knows what it's like to have boots on the ground in foreign countries. Some would say, though, that his experience is so ingrained in this area that it could possibly be considered old school. Is old school a bad thing in this regard?
Well, I don't think that really comes into play when it has to do with foreign policy. I mean, Senator Obama really is the one who keeps talking about change on a macro scale compared to Senator McCain. But either way, I think foreign policy experience is really important to have actually met with diplomats, to know the way they speak, to understand the ramifications of a policy position. These are things Senator Biden has, and Governor Palin just does not.
Well, where can she score points, though, in this regard? I mean, the debates are going to be coming up, and there'll be a lot of conversation on this. Where can she score points to give some more confidence in her aspect in the area of foreign policy?
Right. I think they've really got to get beyond just the fact that Alaska is physically close to Russia or Siberia. That really isn't a compelling argument. I think where she can kind of make headway is when she talks about energy independence and then explain how that relates to the average American.
Yeah.
That really is an area that I think there is some attractiveness to her policy stance.
In the topic of Russia and Georgia and the conflict that has been playing out there, Governor Palin, you say, was right in some of her thinking on this. Explain what you meant.
Well, I mean, clearly when you look at the interview, a lot of it, she just didn't seem very solid. She didn't seem like she had the substance. However, it is true that if a nation were to become a member of NATO, the United States would be committed to defend that nation. A better, kind of thing to think about is, do we really want to open up NATO memberships to all these nations so that in effect forms a cause of war with Russia, which is something we probably have to be more careful about. But on the substance of that, she was right.
Okay. A lot of talk has been made, and we'll hear this perhaps more so when it comes to the presidential candidates. But we know that when the commission report came out in Washington, one of the recommendations was that America, the USA, has to start engaging in more dialogue with foreign countries, and even those that we are at odds with. Do you expect Joe Biden to hammer that point home?
Well, I do, and remember Senator Obama set the tone when he said he would meet unilaterally with Ahmadinejad of Iran. So I would expect, in a variety of ways, Senator Biden to just hammer home his experience, the need to both diplomatically engage, but also using references and talking about meetings he's had. Remember, he's personally been to Georgia shortly before the Russian invasion. He's been to Iraq. And Palin has not, despite her claim to have visited there. She had only got as far as Kuwait. So I think all these things are things that will come up during a debate that will really show he's superior to Palin when it comes to foreign policy. However, in a presidential campaign, voters will look at McCain versus Obama and weigh them as well.
Right, but since we're comparing the vice presidents, you say it's a lock with Joe Biden, no ifs and buts about it.
It's hard for me to imagine a scenario where a candidate who 18 months ago wasn't even the governor of Alaska that person's going to have comparable foreign policy experience to Joe Biden, that's ridiculous. I think what she might come back and say, well, Senator Biden, you do have a lot of experience, but 2 years ago you were advocating dividing up Iraq into thirds, into ethnic divisions, and if we had done that and not the surge that John McCain did, Iraq would be lost right now. I don't fully agree with that argument. I think that Biden was offering a best-case solution to a very problematic issue 2 years ago. McCain turned out to be more right with the surge, but I don't think Biden's was necessarily, insane or a bad choice.
Sure. All right. Well, Seth Cattell, thank you very much for your time and your insight on this. He's a columnist and contributing editor to the New York Sun. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Again, all this week, we are comparing the vice presidential candidates on a variety of topics, foreign policy, oil drilling, the economy. These topics are all still to come, and we hope you will be watching so that you can be informed.
On air, online, on demand. Watch AFR when you want, where you want with CN8, the Comcast network.